Greetings, my fellow Legionnaires, Calypso here, and as I was right, Legacy of Kain was getting a reboot apparently, and that reboot is now cancelled because Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, Embracer Group, and whoever else can't make up their fucking minds. News today coming from Insider Gaming as of a couple of hours ago, or whenever you watch this, yesterday, today, next week, whenever. Today, a news article dropped from Insider Gaming that we were supposed to be getting a new Legacy of Kain, but it was quietly canceled. 1 year of development was apparently under its belt, and naturally, Eidos Montreal, the guys who just killed off Deus Ex, also killed off Legacy of Kain. I'm not surprised by this at all, but I am slightly disappointed because it was another Legacy of Kain. We've had 1,000 cancellations of games throughout this series. It's to be expected at this point, and the fact that we could have had another one once again just breaks my heart that we won't because it's Legacy of Kain. Whether that product would have been good or not remains to be seen, and probably wouldn't have, considering that nobody has liked within the fandom the last couple of efforts from the Legacy of Kain series, and it's a huge debate whether you did or whether you didn't. But the most recent thing we've gotten was Legacy of Kain Dead Shall Rise. We've seen how plenty of you out there have reacted. We've seen how plenty of you did not like that comic, and we've seen how supposed fans of this series worked on this comic, wrote it, drew it, whatever, and then Crystal Dynamics signed off on all this bullshit, and apparently that was good enough, and nobody ended up liking it. So would this new game have actually been good? I don't think so. I've done videos on Dead Shall Rise already. You can check my Legacy of Kain playlist somewhere on my channel, or it's the most recent things I've uploaded because I'm really, really slow with uploading and making videos. If this were my real job, I would have been fired a long time ago. I think it's a testament to Legacy of Kain to be canceled so much. I'm pretty sure there's a record out there somewhere, the most canceled game series in history, and I'm willing to bet Legacy of Kain is in the top 5. And to put some perspective in this whole thing, I think with anything, with any series really, as long as people have... With any series, people have a giant expectation for things. Are those expectations totally unrealistic? Absolutely. But that goes to show the quality of the studio working on X or Y thing. Look at Rockstar, for example, okay? Rockstar haven't released a Grand Theft Auto game in 10 plus years, but everybody is still freaking out, flipping, and wanting the release date for Grand Theft Auto 6. Even though none of the people who made the original Grand Theft Autos, Red Dead Redemption, even Grand Theft Auto 5 are still on the team, and if they are, I sure as hell don't know if they are. I do know Dan Houser left, and I think his brother is still there. I don't know. Someone confirm for me. Way too lazy to look it up right now. That just goes to show the pedigree of Rockstar Studios, that you can release one game in 10 years and people will still want the sequel. Legacy of Kain, I feel, is kind of that way. Tomb Raider, I feel, is kind of that way. People will still be excited for this series no matter what's coming out, even if it does end up sucking. It's just a little bitter pill we have to swallow at this point because we are fans, we love that series, and the studio used to have some sort of pedigree, some clout to carry with its name of, yeah, they make good games, their games are good, I want to buy their games. Unfortunately, the last couple of years have thrown Tomb Raider in the mud, especially with how Crystal Dynamics is handling classic Laura, treating her like dirt. And as we've seen with Legacy of Kain being canceled 1,000 times, I had no faith or trust that this new game would have been good. It would have looked cool. How do we know that? Because we've got the concept art. They teased us. Think about that, guys. They teased us with the concept art of what it was going to look like. That's twice now that this shit has happened. First with Omen, which I have a video I'm working on. It's very slow. I'm sorry. First with Omen being canceled, and then the concept art and stuff releasing of what it would look like, and thus disappointing everybody because it never came out. Looked cool. And then we actually have this one where they released the concept art within the Legacy of Kain remasters, and now that game is canceled. And they'll probably repurpose that art for the Book of Nosgoth, the giant Wikipedia page. That's what I would do anyway. I think that'd be the smart decision. But the fact that I've speculated multiple times we were going to get a reboot, they came out with the comic The Dead Shall Rise, which was pretty much a setup for said new game that's coming out as a soft reboot, and then they canceled it again. Just call me Nostradamus, I guess.
No.
When it comes to Kain, there's so much push and pull within the fandom. You have so many people who really enjoyed Nosgoth like myself and thought it was some really cool world building, and then you have so many people who didn't like Dead Sun, and thought it looked like absolute garbage and the writing was trash and yada yada yada, all these things. I personally thought Dead Sun looked cool. That's the whole thing. You have this flip-flop, these two sides of the coin, if you will, of the community that you'll never be able to make side A or side B of Legacy of Kain fans happy, right? I think this soft reboot would have looked really cool, hence the artwork, right? The story probably would have been bad. And that's the whole thing I want a lot of people to really grasp here. If you haven't figured it out by now, the games that we grew up with and the teams that we looked up to and looked forward to their games coming out don't exist anymore. We pine for nostalgia on things. We desperately want our favorite thing to keep going on and existing. But then eventually you really have to just wake up, realize it might never ever come back. And if it does, it will be a shell of its former self. Because Amy Hennig practically retired and pretty much sworn off Legacy of Kain at this point and is doing her own thing. Everyone else on that team is working on some other studio or retired or doing something else. The people who are still there, who were there from the beginning of Soul Reaver and Legacy of Kain with Crystal Dynamics or Silicon Knights, even with Dennis Dyack, have all gone on to do other things, or they've graduated from being a programmer to doing something totally separate within Crystal Dynamics as a studio or something else. It also doesn't help that whatever new team is working on past Legacy title, not Kain title, just Legacy franchise, right? Don't care about it. We've seen that plenty of time with developers actively saying, we'll try to make this our own. We'll change it up. It doesn't, what was good back then wasn't good for today. Look at it with Tomb Raider. Instead of crediting core design with Tomb Raider in the splash screen, they replace core design, who should be credited right from when you boot up the Tomb Raider remasters, with something like, oh, everything was culturally offensive back then in the 90s. Things were different. Lara Croft, da-da-da-da-da. Like, we've seen them treat Tomb Raider like dirt, so I have zero hope for Legacy of Kain. And this comic, being as poorly received as it was, should hold zero hope for all of you. That should have been your wake-up call for every single one of you out there, that anything new Legacy of Kain is probably going to suck. The only way you can have a good Legacy of Kain title now is if you bring back Dennis Dyack, you pull Amy Hennig out of retirement or whatever the hell else she's doing, or you get someone who truly understands the source material, like the Hilden, or even the frickin' Lost Worlds crew, like Ben Lincoln, or Raina Audrin, those guys, getting those guys to work on something officially within the writing department of Legacy of Kain, I'm all down. I'm all for it. Bring them all in, have them write something. Bring Dennis to consult for world building. Bring Amy Hennig back to write characters or something like that. Bring these legacy people back. But they never will, because they've passed the torch. They've accepted it's over. It's done. They've lived their time. It's finished now. It's finished. And with this new cancellation from being a year in development and then it gets canceled, proves that they had zero faith in this. And they also killed off Deus Ex, guys. Deus Ex is also dead at this point. I have zero hope that we'll get another Deus Ex, and if we do, I'll be even more grey than I already am. I was going to try to talk about more things, but it just ended up turning into a rant. So yes, there was a Legacy of Kain game. It got canceled a year into development later this year, at the end of this year. Article you can read down below for all that info. It just sucks, guys. It's like American McGee. American McGee pitched a third Alice game, Alice Asylum, right? He kickstarted a design bible, he did all the art, he designed it all from the ground up, and he went to EA and he told EA, if you give me a team to develop this, I will put forth my own money to make this happen. I just need your help with a bit of a team, a small team, to work on this. And EA still said no, because they know that they can't make billions, quadrillions of dollars for a niche game series like Alice. And thus, American McGee has retired from video games. Now he owns a merch store or whatever else. That's where we are now with every single legacy IP that we all grew up with. Guys, that's where we are with Thief. The most recent Thief is a VR game that nobody gives a shit about because it's VR. They brought back Stephen Russell as Garrett to be your voice in your head talking person, right? But you don't actually play as Garrett. And you're trapped behind a VR game that nobody is going to play or care about. And eventually there will probably be a mod to turn it into a regular Thief game. That's where we are. People do not care about these franchises. As heartbreaking as it is for me to say, our past is the past. And it'll probably stay there. Now, I could keep rambling on and on and on and on and boring your guys' ears off, but I won't do that. This has been a kind of a sad one. This really sucks. Talking through this now, it just makes me sad that we had another one. It was on the cusp of release, and then it gets canceled after a year in development. A couple more years, and it would have been out. But I think they saw that the Soul Reaver remasters didn't sell very well. It's a year since they came out now, and they're already 50% off on sale. That's not a good thing. So, and I think they were giving them away on like Humble Bundle at some point. Like, the fact is, the Soul Reaver remasters didn't do as great as everybody thought they would. I think Eidos expected them to make billions of dollars, and obviously they didn't. And now they were like, well, the remasters didn't sell well, and everybody hates the comic, so let's just cancel this new Legacy of Kain. That's the wrong kind of thinking. I don't know. You need I don't know. Forget it. I've been Calypso. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.